I
to
had
you,
wanted to
brother.
point something out with Shan when we were having a conversation early, so I'm gonna just share it with y'all. So when we're talking about being righteous and being honest, right? So I was explaining to her in my situation, a lot of times women do, I know y'all think that women are so smart and like how HD was saying, oh, they have PhDs and they this and they that. They said, but when it comes to emotions, is very different. You can be logical about your PhD and certain things. And what I was gonna say is that I was telling Shan that I'm grateful that my husband had, well, before we was married, that he had a level of righteousness because I had shared with her, he probably could have had me on the street. You know what I'm saying? Because of how much I cared about him, that I was willing to do anything for him. And I am thankful that he had some level of discipline, some level of righteousness where he didn't take advantage the way that he could have. And so that's what I was saying in turn. And he was honest with me. He let me know. I've shared that with y'all before about him being honest with me, that he said he did not want a relationship. He had just got out of a relationship, with his baby's mother, and he just wasn't looking to be in a relationship right now. So that gave me the opportunity to walk away, which I didn't. I was feeling him. I liked the conversation. I'm like, in the back of my mind, maybe this can go somewhere the more time we have getting to know each other. That was totally on me, you know. But once feelings got involved, I felt like I couldn't, like I could not deal with him, right?
Mhm.
Until I finally decided not to, you know. But it took me having to physically be away from him in order to do that. You know what I mean? But I can appreciate that he had some level of integrity, some level of righteousness with him. Because when I say he literally could probably have had me doing whatever he wanted, that was the space that I was in at that time. So I'm very thankful. And so that's why I say being righteous and being honest are two different things.
From what it sounds like when you talk about him, I think that might have been the reason that you was like that. Like
Exactly.
that he was that righteous because you
Ex-
trusted him to that extent that you would have done anything he asked.
I
You
think
don't
I
think so?
think no, I think that you get possibly were mistaken, but I think men know when you get a woman's emotionally involved, you got her, right? I think that you guys have all been in a situation where you've had a woman wrapped around your finger. And maybe she wasn't that kind of woman, beforehand, but she fell in love with you. And you knew that you had the power over her because she was so in love with you, right?
yeah.
I think that you guys all, and I think that that's what women, until they get to that point, women have to love enough crazy people to put that defense up to be able to say, okay, I won't let another man get me like that. But then they're considered damaged, right? But it's the emotional intelligence. But naturally, in its natural sense, I think that women were designed to love. We're emotional creatures. I think that that's for a reason, because we become mothers. We mother children. We're nurturers, right? And I think because of the way people move, including us, the way society has moved us, that has kind of been, we've been robbed of that, being able to be that, because now you're on defense mode. They have so much love that they could give, but it's either been taken and not reciprocated, or you gave it to the wrong person, or it didn't end the way you wanted it in. So now you've got a defense, you got a wall up. And so the next guy who could mean well can't get it, or it's a little harder to tap into that. So it becomes a very dangerous situation. Even when it's kids, you have a little daughter, Marcus has daughters, she gonna fall in love with somebody because she was designed to love somebody. But you got to teach them, like, look, these are the things you look for to stop your heart from going there. But then we
But
got men over here who grown men tell them, well, this is how you get them to be in love with you. So all this manipulation going on.
But
And go ahead.
it's It's manipulation on both sides, though. Boys are also taught to learn to love the same way that little girls
For
are.
sure. And I think that they changed
Boys,
their ways because of something that happened to them early on in the process, right?
for
Would y'all
sure. I mean, who we are as adults is only a reflection of what it is that we've experienced in life. Now, as far as with Miss Taken in her situation, and somebody said it in the comments too, he was able to feel how genuine and authentic it was that you felt about him. And just off of what I can have experienced just from this short time of me knowing you, you seem as if you're a very soft, feminine woman, compared to what else is out there. So, of course, a good stand-up man is going to treat a woman like that differently every single time, all day, every day. So, yeah, it was definitely one of those deals of where he acknowledged and was aware that he could do all of that, but there would be consequences of it. You know what I'm saying? Being that it'll either break you or it'll escalate everything and just into complete chaos, in which he probably just got out of the chaos. You know what I'm saying? So
what Shan was talking about earlier about how women fall in love and how Mistaken was describing he could have had you doing anything. That's the basis of my belief that all women can be positioned to be molded to the women you need, but they have to get to that point. If you can't get her to feel that way about you, then no, you can't do anything about anything she do or say. But if you can get her to that point, you can get pretty much anything that you're
But
trying
that's
to.
why I also think it's important for women. And I don't know, like, I guess if I had to go back and do it over again, like, I had well, his daughter that he had before me, but she's my daughter. She lived with us. I helped raise her. Is that if I had to do it over again, knowing what I know now, which is hindsight, I think as women, we don't, and men, if you're an involved dad, um, teach our young girls how to develop an understanding of who they are, right? And I think that part is very important because when I look back on how I was able to be that person, like he could have taken total advantage, is because I didn't have an understanding of who I was. So I didn't have, like true standards. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a knowledge of self. So when you don't know who you are, you open the door for other people to define who they want you to be, right? And I think that was part of it because I lacked knowledge of self at that age. He showed me something different that was new to me, based on prior, high school experience, boyfriends, you like really in love, like that kind of stuff. So I would say
he's older than you as well, right?
yeah, he was older than me as well. So, and the boyfriend that I had in high school, like they were good dudes too. So I attracted nice, like I guess I can see something inside a dude that, was attracting a nice spirit. But I think part of that with him, because even in that my high school relationship wasn't the same on this level. You know what I'm saying? And I think part of it was because I was still in a process of learning who I was. So he caught me in that process of not knowing who I was. And so it was easier for him to, I'll have to ask him later. Do he feel like he was manipulating me or playing game? Like I can't say. I don't
Everything is
know.
manipulation.
Right. So I would say certain things that I was able to fall victim to because of my lack of experience, because my lack of knowledge of self, and And in some ways, I'm gonna definitely say he took advantage, but it could have been a whole lot worse. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about your husband?
Yeah, it definitely could have been a whole lot worse. But again, like I said, the fact that he has some level of integrity and righteousness, I think he did limit himself from going too far. You know, I'm
So
saying with
do
but
you
go
do you
ahead.
feel that you don't feel as if you've taken advantage of him in some sense, and saying that, not looking
I
at it
think
from a
I
negative.
have, I definitely think I have as I got older,
Right.
because I think me getting older, living with him, both of us growing and changing, because at 18, when I met him, my life experience was very limited. My knowledge of self was very limited. And I must say, he's helped me grow into my own,
Yeah.
right? By being with him. So I think once I started growing into my own and getting to have a better understanding of who I was, I definitely think that at points within that, I have definitely have taken opportunity to manipulate and get things that I wanted from him as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.